Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call today. If you take a minute to tie up the game against UCF, please. And what you expect to see is you get another ranked opponent Saturday on the road at USF, please.
Yeah, another ranked opponent on the road, third conference game. Last week was a struggle. It was tough. We keep getting ourselves way behind and have to fight out of a hole, and it's draining. It's draining on our program, on our kids. So it wasn't from a lack of effort and things like that, but it's definitely seeing some of the after effects of being in the hole all the time and having to fight back just with the energy that we're able to provide. Obviously, we had a tough situation with the weather. Cut short of the game would have been a really, probably the smartest thing to do, not by my likings and not what I would want to do, nor do our kids want to do it. But to go back out there at probably 1:15 or 1 o'clock in the morning for kids that probably ate the last time at 4 o'clock, the league probably made a good choice for student-athlete welfare.
We'll take questions for Coach Luke Fickell, please. Star 1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
We'll go next to Derek Sharp with the USF Radio.
Coach, I know you have the Big Ten experience facing tough opponents, but you mentioned it, 3 ranked opponents in a row. I guess it's more of a conference question, but could you speak to that trio of opponents in a row?
Really, it's not in a row, but 4 if you count Michigan as well. So it really probably a tough road and maybe something that I didn't quite foresee probably sitting down there beforehand, and that maybe is the youth of what I was looking at and really trying to picture it as a one-game season each and every week. But don't know that I would change a whole lot of things. It just happens to be the way it is. It's been a tough road and faced some really good opponents. And I think that shows to the strength of this conference, and really helps us to figure out where we need to get to be where we need to be.
And one last thing about USF, everyone starts with the quarterback, and that's probably deserving. But this year they're giving you a lot more to look at on the other side of the ball, the defense. Could you speak to what you see there?
No, very aggressive. Obviously, they've done a great job, and they balance it. They play complementary football as much as their offense goes, and as many plays as they play. Sometimes you can put your defense in tough situations, but the ability to move the ball and do what they've done, and for their defense to be so stout and strong and be aggressive. Sometimes you don't always see that tied with the type of offense that they play, knowing that they might have to be out there a bunch. So I think they've done a great job at complementing one another.
Thank you very much.
We'll go next to Joey Knight with the Tampa Bay Times.
Luke, as you just alluded to, there's a lot to be impressed about when you watch USF on tape. What are you most impressed with? Is there one thing that really jumps out at you?
I think it starts with team speed. Obviously, it's easy to point at the quarterback and and just kind of be awed by him and what he's done. But I think overall, the ability for the team speed, kind of what we saw this past week. I was really impressed with Central Florida's team speed. And then you pop on here and see the same kind of thing that is a reoccurring theme for both of those teams and a lot of the teams in this league. So I think it's a bit of an eye opener for me to say, okay, now we need to make sure we know where we need to be as we continue to move forward and be able to account for it.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Ronnie Woodward with the Greenville Daily Reflector.
Hey, Coach, just looking back at Saturday's game against Central Florida, they're first in the country in points per game. Maybe not a lot of people nationally realize that, but what makes them so difficult, I guess, and what stands out to you about how dangerous they could be?
It starts with the quarterback and the ability for him to control the whole offense. I think he's done a great job. I didn't study him as much last year. I know they kind of bounced around, but you can definitely see a comfort level for him and what he's doing and their ability to be on the same page. To add some of the skill that they got is really given them, some difference makers in space. It's not easy when you have the option of the quarterback run and then you have as good a guys in space as they have. So it's a pretty good combination tied with that defense that, returning player of the year. So you can see that the growth that they've had, but I think that it starts with some of that speed that they've generated, probably a little bit more on offense.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Leo Haggerty with It's Sports Magazine.
Good afternoon, Coach.
How we doing?
Good, fine. Thanks for asking. Coach, you played Central Florida last week, and now you have to go to Tampa to play South Florida. The American Conference schedule makers didn't do you any favors this year, did they?
No, I guess you'd say that. I don't know if they said it that way for the one of the newer guys, but it is what it is, and we know we're going to have to play them. And at some point in time, we got to, find a way to make sure that we can kind of hold up and match up. I think that's where we, the enlightening thing for us or me as a coach, and with this conference, is to realize the depth that it has. I know everybody had said that, and I had heard about it, and I had watched it a little bit, but probably didn't know it firsthand. And then to kind of be thrown into it with four of them first has been, it's been difficult. And I think the wear and tear is what I'm most worried about on our program and team.
Coach, I call the USF offense Warp 1 because of the extreme speed that they operate. How much of a challenge is it for you to get your defense a good look of what they do at practice?
It's difficult. I mean, coming off of last week, UCF probably didn't go as fast as maybe they could or at times will, and they don't go as fast as I think what USF goes. So there's a balance there to being able to do it as fast as you possibly can, but then also not slacking on the work that you need to get done with fundamentals and things like that. And I think that's where the balance to what you do has got to really come in, and what is your focus for your team and your program.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in Tampa this weekend.
Thank you.
And any other questions for Coach Fickell, please? Star 1 on your telephone keypad if so. Coach, thanks for your time today. Look forward to hearing from you again next Monday.
Thank you.